Hello guys, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Amit Sani and I welcome you on StudyIQ in this daily Hindu analysis video which comes in the morning, and in the evening the PIV videos come, and the PDFs you will get on the StudyIQ blog, website, Telegram channel and on my Facebook group. And these pen drive courses are going to help you a lot. There's no motivation quote today. Only motivation is just keep going. That is the best way. Be a tortoise. Okay, consistently add something daily in your preparation, and don't think about the past, don't think about the future. Just keep on adding the information, keep on doing maximum consistent work. That is the best idea for this examination. And these videos are going to help you a lot, apart from the current affairs section that is uploaded daily on the YouTube. Here these static subjects created by experts are going to help you immensely in the examination. Next, the MCQs that I gave to you yesterday. Chikungunya is an infection caused by chikungunya. It's a virus. Togaviridae is a virus family. Okay, it's not a protozoa. It is spread by Culex mosquito. No Culex mosquito spreads Japanese encephalitis. This is spread by Aedes mosquito. Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus, two species. Third, it was isolated in Tanzania, not in India. Okay, in 1952. So the chikungunya is the language of Tanzania. Chikungunya is the word in their language. That's the thing. Okay, so D, none would be the answer here. Next, monkey fever is the disease spread by tick bite, not monkey bite. Okay, so it is wrong. It's a vector-borne disease. Perfectly right. It is found in Karnataka Kaisanur forest area, but also found in Vadanar forest area in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in Goa also. So this option would be wrong. So only two correct answer would be. Next, Odisha government's scheme is Kalia scheme and implemented for doubling the farmer scheme. No, that is wrong. That is the idea from center and the main aim for 2022, that we will be doubling the farmers' income. And this is not the aim with this Kalia scheme. It's a state government scheme. Although they are trying to raise in all the ways the income of farmer, and they are giving them insurance, free crop loans, free interest-free crop loans and all. So second would be wrong here. So only one would be correct answer here. Next, we have seen a lot of articles on Afghanistan situation. Whatever we should decide, whatever our stand would be, our interaction with China with respect to Afghanistan, with USA, what is the USA's pullout. So a lot of things we have discussed. So in a hasty manner we are going to see these points, because these are the repeated points, and this is a perfect compilation by these two important writers, that if you are going to write in the mains question that I gave to you to practice also, there in a straight way you can put all these points. These points are given in this article. Now see, way out of the morass means a kind of a marshy area. The US's plan to pull out of Afghanistan is an appropriate time to re-examine the idea of enabling the neutrality, because it is going to be a void. If it becomes a void, then certainly these negative powers will dominate the scene. If it becomes an active participation area where neutrality is there, balance is there, then certainly negative powers will be suppressed, and even powers like Taliban, they will begin cooperation in a positive manner. So that's the situation. So active participation with a neutrality is a must here. Replace Afghanistan in its traditional mode of neutrality as it used to be in till 19th century, and in 20th century these neutrality aspects, they became in grave danger, and after that the situation went into foreign hands and all, and this is all a destruction. Now that should be reversed. This is the right time, and all kinds of devastations are over now, and now the things which are developing in the way of US's pullout, its withdrawal of forces. So a new kind of opportunity is rising here. The Afghans themselves must declare unequivocally that they would not follow strict neutrality in the future. So that is the first thing that the Afghanistan people should do, and the Afghan government should themselves do. Next, the outside powers, they must commit themselves to respect Afghanistan's neutrality. So these both things are going to strengthen the situation. So these are two essentials. Okay. Next, in other words, external powers must subscribe to a multilateral declaration. That should be there, because a lot of stakeholders are there. Okay. And nobody should interfere internally in the Afghanistan's affair. That should be a declaration, and the way it was a neutrality of Laos. It was signed in 1962, where this country was also having a situation like Afghanistan. Multi stakeholders were there, and they all were creating a scene in Laos, and that's a country in Indochina. Okay, so this country also signed this agreement, and all stakeholders, even India was there. Many countries, around 19 countries were there in this agreement, and they said that they gave their consent to maintain the neutrality there and to maintain the non-interference in their internal affairs. So that should be done here. Trump has announced his decision to reduce American troops strength in Afghanistan, that is 14,000 at present, by half. So it is going to be a pullout before 2020 election, presidential election. And this development has energized the principal stakeholders, because you see the opportunity, that kind of opportunity that is rising. But there are some aspects. The aspect of Taliban, everyone should engage with Taliban today. Why? These are the reasons. It must be done because they already control more than 50% of the country. They are becoming stronger and bolder, and they have direct talks with China, Russia, and Central Asian states. That means they all are recognizing the importance of Taliban. And even America has to send his diplomat Zalmay Khalilzad to negotiate with Taliban. And as soon as the situation would be settled, we would pull out from here. So talking to Taliban has become a necessity for all these stakeholders. And even we should also think about engaging with Taliban, that we have refrained till now. Okay, and you see, Taliban have refused to talk to the Kabul government, but they might agree to engage with the first Ashraf Ghani government if they are respected in this way, and a decisive role can be played by Taliban also. The Taliban, the same group who was actually the most hostile group, and they did a lot of harm to the democracy in Afghanistan. So the same group is being respected like this now. New Delhi has so far refrained out of sensitivity for the Kabul government. We have not talked to Taliban, and our army chief also gave this statement, but yesterday only Sushma Swaraj gave a different statement that Taliban channel may be open. Okay, India must look after its own interest. We should not totally go with the Afghan government, because that is not in that much a dominant position. We should also think about our interest, that what is going to be our role, what is going to be the consequence of rising of Taliban, and also we should also keep open this channel talking to Taliban. So will a Taliban dominated government in Kabul, if this happens, necessarily pose a serious security threat to us? You see, this question is bizarre, because we are in a no position where we can stop this from happening, or we may support this to happen. So we are in a no position. Taliban is so dominant. All these big countries are directly channeling with the Taliban group. So that's the situation. Even Iran, which is a Shia regime, and this Taliban is a Sunni movement. Okay, even Iran has established official dialogue with Taliban. So Taliban is so strong today. So even Taliban can ignore us if we are not going to talk to Taliban. If we are not on the table with Taliban, then certainly Taliban will ignore us. After all, the Americans have not always been sensitive to our concern. You see, America wants us to participate there. They want us to send our armies there. But you see, the America, they have not always been sensitive to our concern. They are very much opportunistic a country, and America always is concerned about his own interest. So recently we saw that Mr. Trump has publicly shown unawareness of our substantial development assistance to it. He mocked the library idea of Mr. Modi and all. So this is the way they always do. So that's why America is not a reliable partner, and we should not care much about America here. A regional compact should be there. International community ought to at the same time think of how to establish a mechanism which might offer a reasonable opportunity to the Afghan people. So we should think about the Afghan people in the center. We should all focus on those people, and the democracy should work there. And in talking about the democracy, we should support the Afghan government there, and Taliban can be brought on the table, so that a constructive cooperation can be shown by Taliban. Even today in the newspaper today, Taliban said that we don't want a monopoly there in Afghanistan. We want to share the power. So Afghanistan government can be a power sharer there, and there can be a great kind of cooperation after the long years time of hostility, humiliation, all kinds of destruction. There may be a very positive future. but active participation is must, and non-interference from all the parties is a must. Only interference that should be there, that should be a support, positive support. Okay, and most important country in this regard is Pakistan, because nobody can ignore Pakistan, because Pakistan is an adjacent country, and even Pakistan is very much suspicious about India's intention, that what India's role would be in Afghanistan. So if we talk to Taliban directly, then Pakistan also would be happy, because after all, Taliban is a protege of Pakistan only. Pakistan raised Taliban in 1990s. Okay, so it would be always a happy condition for Pakistan if Taliban rises. Okay, so that's the thing. And we with China have also agreed in Wuhan in April 18 on working on joint projects in Afghanistan. And yes, day before yesterday we discussed the whole article where we saw the areas where India and China can work actively with the participation in Afghanistan. It's a huge opportunity for us to work positively together. Okay, now agreement on the principle of mutual relation that was signed between Pakistan and Afghanistan in 1988, and nothing can be better than that, and nothing would be better ever between Pakistan and Afghanistan, that from comparing to this mutual relation agreement. They should work on this, and in this agreement parties undertook inter alia what, that they won't be interfering in each other's tasks, internal affairs, and they won't be try to throw the political system of the other country, and they would respect the sovereignty. They would suppress the hostile activities in their territories against the other side. So these were the very positive points that should be maintained and that should be worked upon. Pakistan probably would agree to a document with Afghanistan in whose governance its protege Taliban will play an important role, which would probably be similar to the one it had concluded with Afghan regime. That means whatever positive that can be brought here with the cooperation of Taliban, that would be same as they signed in this agreement, so that there would be no more interference from Pakistan side or any other country's side in Afghanistan. So that would be a peaceful situation. And the Bonn Agreement, which was signed in 2001, way back in 2001, there also it was decided that international community should guarantee this, that there would be no interference from their side in Afghanistan. So that is not acted upon so far. That should be worked now. At that time, Mr. Hamid Karzai was made an interim chief of Afghanistan government. Okay, and it was a request from his side to the international community, but that thing was not done because of the America's reasons. Everybody knows that. Now some concerns are there. A regional pact on non-interference should be there and should be welcomed by all. Russia has its own fears if Taliban or any kind of negative power rises in this area. The drug menace is already there, and the opium farming which is done in Afghanistan, that can be a huge problem for Russia, the way it is there for America from Mexico's side. Okay, it's all drug menace. China has its own fears in this area on the western border of it, and US might have apprehension about China's entrenching itself in strategically important Afghanistan. Certainly US would be having a problem if China takes participations here, but you see US cannot do much about it because US is going to withdraw its troops, and it is a faraway country, and in this region China is a neighbor of Afghanistan, so its participation would be very much important and dominant, and US won't be able to do much here. So that's the thing. So a regional agreement on non-interference might give US at least some comfort, so that after this long period of this hostility, suppression and all, US would have some comfortable days. Okay, and these all regional players would be maintaining the situation, and it would not be a problem for US anymore. It is early days to conclude whether the situation of Afghanistan has entered its end game. We cannot say that the situation is ending now, but you see, after this withdrawal, if this happens soon, no other country will offer to put boots on the ground. Nobody would be trying to send military on Afghanistan land. Even India should never think about it. It's totally a negative idea, whatever US may propel here. So that's the situation. These are the all points which are concluding this situation, and you can write them straight away in your mains questioning. Okay, Next article is regarding the basic income idea, which was discussed 2 years back, and the writer says it is totally workable, but some changes, some modifications are needed, because as the writer was a participant in a pilot project which was done in 2010 to 2013 in the state of Madhya Pradesh and Western Delhi, where 6,000 men, women and children, they were provided with modest basic incomes, and that was paid in cash. So all groups were given separately, means men were given their own money, women were given their own money, and kids were given their own money. So their results and the impact of that pilot project was very much a positive thing. You see, a lot of criticism was there regarding this basic income, that it is not useful to give money to these people. So certainly he says that in that way it is not going to be useful, but the way this pilot project went, where individual person was given money, okay, men, women and kids separately, that idea may work here, and that's a great idea. And let's see what consequences were there of this project, where these people were paid individually, okay, and these institutions, Seva, UNICEF, they all were observing the situation, and they were giving their support. So these can be employed here also, where we are going to it's a proposal that we are going to give this basic income to everyone in this country, okay. So these institutions, their work, their cooperation can be very important. In this exercise of this pilot project, the outcomes exceeded expectation, means they were very positive. Everybody in the community received their own individual transfers. Nutrition improved, sanitation improved, healthcare improved, well-being improved, vulnerable groups improved, and amount and quality of work also improved. This was seen apparently. Critics said it would be a waste of money, but they were proved wrong. Above all, the basic incomes improved the community spirit and were emancipatory. You see, when everybody is having their own money, so there are no confusions, there are no suspicions, there are no troubles, and there is no jealousy left. Because jealousy is a big factor. If one person is getting the money and the other person is not getting the money, then it creates the biggest trouble in India. The issue becomes political, and this whole scheme becomes a failed show. So here it is not going to be a problem, because everybody is getting their own money. Till now there are paternalistic policies. What are paternalistic policies? Means when the rich class or the government or the powerful lobbies, they support some, okay, not much, they support some, and they expect a lot. They expect votes, they expect in a way they are following, and mainly these policies, these schemes are brought in the election season. So this is the paternalistic policies, means they will give them something so that anyhow they are surviving, okay. So not much these elites are doing for these poor people, and that's the paternalistic policies, despite decades of evidence that they are woefully inefficient and ineffective. Certainly they will be ineffective and inefficient because they are not doing any kind of structural changes, okay, and they are not any way long-term measures, okay. If in the election season you give 100 rupees to every person, so certainly for 2-3 days they will be able to survive, they will be happy, and they will give votes to you, but ultimately it is doing nothing good to them. So the tendency of elites to want to have common people grateful to their discretionary benevolence, because they choose some groups, they give them some temporary benefits, and they take votes from them. So that is never going to do any kind of economic reform, and it's actually an totally inefficient idea. So most of our populist schemes and the welfare schemes are like this, so that should be changed. And this pilot project which was done, that was totally against this paternalistic policy, because everybody was having their own share. And in India, this universal basic income idea that can be rolled out across India and is affordable, because a lot of subsidies are going to be replaced with this, and it is not going to be a huge difference from the present situation. And proposed way of paying for it are given. It would be wonderful if the main political parties and personalities could come together on it. You see, it's a kind of a distant dream when all parties will come together and there would be no left and right division here. that's a totally different situation. And you see, when we are going to roll out this scheme, then certainly we will have to address some basic questions, that the kind of situation which prevails in India, that governments are here only for corruption. You see, this is totally apparent, and that is totally evident, but that they are totally focusing on votes, election times. They are doing all rallies and all, and making very unwanted statements, very provocative statements. Their total focus is on votes and all. So for this time, they collect money and they bring all these welfare schemes which are totally inefficient. The way loan waivers and all are there, that may be a scheme of this the universal basic scheme can also be like this, if it is not totally changed and implemented in a positive way. And if these all parties are not coming together to raise the level of poor, but actually they don't want to raise the level of poors, that's the main problem. That should be solved first, then they will come together and then they will implement this big scheme, because it is going to be the biggest scheme ever. And it is not only about India, it is not only implemented in India, it is implemented all over the world. Not implemented, it is experimented. Actually, I said a wrong word here. It is experimented because it is proposed all over the world, because the inequality is rising and every country is facing this trouble. So they are planning to give minimum basic income to everyone, so that people are not dying out of hunger or out of job. Okay, and that is too much to hope, but this wonderful country, in this wonderful country like India, where a lot of changes are going on, a lot of tools are available, a lot of support is available of media, social media and all, campaigning, but that is being misused totally. But if we use it in a useful way, then it's a moment of transformative potential. We have enormous potential. We are a young country. We have demographic dividend. So it's a moment of transformative potential if we use that efficiently. So it's a ripe idea. International debate on basic income is going on, because you see, as I told you, this machine learning, artificial intelligence, these things are coming, and these big entrepreneurs, Amazon, Apple, these are investing in this. So in future there is going to be a huge problem of unemployment, because they won't need any employee, because their machines will learn and their machines will do all the things, so they don't have to pay any kind of incomes to these machines. So the problem will rise and the inequality will rise. Certainly it will rise. And you see, out of this inequality, the problem of minimum basic income would be a great need. It is going to be anyhow a solution. So all these countries are experimenting with this. India could take the lead here. It's an opportunity for us. It's a need for us, dire need for us, because the maximum number of poor are residing in India. So India can take a lead here, and it's a manageable challenge for us. We require goodwill, integrity, knowledge and humility also about what will be the inevitable mistakes. Some mistakes would be there, but we need to be careful about them. It is possible to introduce a comprehensive scheme, okay, even in rural or urban areas, and it is essential to obtain local cooperation there, because it is going to be a grassroots level campaign. So backing of key local institutions is going to be very important here, and the government should phase in the scheme gradually, not at once. They should give money to everybody. It should not be like this, otherwise it is going to be of no use. And gradually, if they will roll this out, then certainly it is going to be very much beneficial for certain groups, like the most needy ones and all, and they will be having experience of it. They will be learning from this scheme, its implementation. So they should do this thing gradually, and they should not select particular tribes. That is the biggest trouble in all the schemes. We select particular types based on some BPL category, based on some SECC data, socioeconomic caste data, and we target some people. So many of them are left out. So it's tempting to say that it should go only for women, only for kids, only for vulnerable section, only for minorities, but it is not going to help ultimately, because what is the problem here? That corruption is the main issue here. It would involve expensive and corruptible procedures, where it would be a selection. Then certainly in the selection procedure there would be a lot of corruption, a lot of political interference, because political classes, they would want to give a benefit to those groups who are going to give them votes. So that's how it is going to be a failed show. If we are going to select particular types, we don't have to select particular types here. We should give money to all, and money is a fungible thing. because if you give them grain, then they can only eat that thing. But money is fungible, you can use it in multiple ways. So equal individual amount, it promotes better and more equal gender relations also, because it would not be a problem for men and women separately. If money is only given to women, then men will be having problem. If it is given to men only, then the women would be having a problem. So here you are giving money to all, so that is going to be a very positive idea. And solidarity within household and the wider community is going to be a reality here, because all will be having money, and then there would be cooperation and nobody would have a jealousy factor. Now the farm loan waivers, it's a bad economics actually. It's a populist measure and it will not alter structures. That's the reality. But you see the need of the hour. Although it's a need of the hour, loan waivers are the need, because the situation is so grim, so bleak with farmers that they are at the brink of suicides and all. And the survival is in total danger. So some immediate relief is needed, totally needed. So at this time, farm loan waivers are okay, but they cannot go very long. These are not long-term procedures. These are not long-term solutions. It's a bad economics, and it's a dangerous precedent to declare that one type of debt is okay and other debts, they don't need to be repaid. If you say that if farmers take loan on crops, so that loan you don't have to pay back if this kind of scheme comes, and the same farmer is taking loan for some other reason that is to be paid, then it creates a difference. If two people are living in vicinity, one person has taken loan for the crop, one person has taken personal loan, both are taking same amount. But if government says that you don't have to pay the crop loan, but you have to pay the personal loan, then it becomes a problem. So it creates and it establishes a wrong precedent. Okay. In the long term, financial institutions would be less likely to extend loans to small scale farmers, and that's a reality. That a problem we see with the industries today. The banks, they don't have lending power now, and they are being very cautious in giving loans. The prompt corrective measures are going on, so they are taking maximum amount of sensitivity and consciousness about giving loans. So it's a big problem for the private investment today. A basic income would be a more equitable and economically rational way if we compare it with the farm loan waivers. Okay, all groups would gain here, and nor it would be any threat to progressive welfare state in the long term, because economics would not be in danger. In the farm loan waiver issue, the economics is in danger. Here the economics would be supported, okay, because it is not going to be a bad economics. No extra burden is there for the government and the economy. Okay, so it is on the politicians that how much will they show here, and we need to see that. That's the article all about. Next, change in Congo. Mr. Kabila is there, who was the president, and now elections are due for the last 2 years, but he is extending out of some issues. First he said Ebola outbreak is there, then he said the electronic machines are not working, they are burnt, so we need to buy more. So for the 2 last years it has been postponed. Now the elections are going on, so the change is going on, and the issue of suppression of the opposition is also going on here, where all the opposition leaders are barred from electing elections by the election commission and the courts. So that's a same problem we are seeing in a lot of countries. And this DRC, the geographic is very important. The equator is running through this country, okay, and you see the situation in Africa, that most of these countries, they are mired with a lot of corruption, because Africa wields a lot of mineral wealth, and the big countries, developed countries, they all have eye on the African land and its mineral wealth. So that's why some people are educated, some people are in power in these African countries, and the rest of the people who are normal crowd, they are very much backward. That's why the corruption levels are very high in African nations. That's the problem with the African nations, and every other country, they all are having eye on African mineral wealth. And so it's a kind of a different kind of a neo-colonialism, where direct colonies are not there, but everybody is focusing African mineral wealth and the land part which is there. Okay, We have also invested a lot here. We cannot say that it's totally a negative thing, but you see, people have intentions. That's a problem. The issue of Parali burning, you see, the data shows that Punjab area, Haryana area is the biggest challenge here. And in the month of April and October, November, these are the two peak times in the air where the number for this particulate matter and the pollution levels are very high. Okay, and certainly they are going to create huge troubles. If we talk about health, the COPD, lung cancer, these all diseases are created by particulate matters. So we need to tackle the situation. We need to bring those kind of policies, and other areas are also having this problem, but they are near the sea, and winds are supportive there. But in this area, if you talk about Delhi situation today, it's a winter season and the wind is not moving, and this whole pollution and this smoke is totally static, and all people are inhaling that pollution. So it is going to be a big problem. The COPD disease, as I told you, that has become so common in the areas like Delhi, where lakhs of people are in danger and thousands are dying every year. Next, the situation of TikTok. It's a very practical social situation. You see, it's a funny situation where the positive thing is that youth and mainly the teenagers, they are very much active, they are very much expressive, and way more expressive than they were ever in the past. Okay, and these apps which are giving them a boost, this is the energetic age and the age of confusion, age of frustration, where these jokes and these positive environment, okay, recognition, the publicity, that is attracting them a lot, but it is doing a lot of harm also. You see, the social situation is changing, and when there is no control, then certainly mistakes are there, and in future there would be a lot of problems. So these apps like TikTok, they are a kind of a possible danger. Okay, if we don't put any kind of restriction or any kind of control on these apps and their uses and in their issues, if we don't manage them, then certainly they can become a huge problem. For the parents also, it's a kind of enormous pressure, because these days kids, they don't listen to their parents, and a lot of factors were already there, and now these kind of apps, they are totally creating havoc on our generation, and they need to focus on their studies, they need to focus on a lot of values and all, and here the environment is totally uncontrolled, unrestrained. So that's the big problem here. TikTok has drawn flack in many countries, including Australia, France, Hong Kong, US, for its laxity in privacy protection and enforcement of minimum age norms. You see, the pedophiles and all, they may take advantage here, and they may manipulate kids here with these apps. Parents have flagged the danger of pedophiles contacting minors on the platform, because a lot of number of minors are using TikTok app. In India, PMK leaders S. Ramados recently called for a ban on TikTok on grounds that the app was causing cultural degradation by allowing youngsters to upload suggestive sexual dance choreography. You see, they demand and they do the dance. That happens with the TikTok app. And many funny allegations are there that these people are going to close down the internet one day, because they are creating havoc, they are totally unrestrained. So that's a matter of joke. But apart from the joke, this situation is very much possible a danger, because the biggest issue, one more is there, that these apps are coming from China, and China is ruling us directly or indirectly on young people's mind. The mobiles they are using, they are manufactured in China, and these apps, where these apps are taking all the data, privacy protections are not being followed. So big number of people, big number of teens are in Chinese hands today. We all always protest that we should ban Chinese products, and we should never appreciate China's products and all, but what are these apps? These are totally Chinese productions, and we are heavily using them. So it has become a big social problem and economic issue also, maybe in future. So I have given you one question on this particular issue. Write about this. It's a very important issue. It's a funny issue, but it's a very much a possible danger. Now Gujarat has also given a 10% quota, the way center has given it, to the economical backward sections, and Gujarat is going to be the first state to implement the quota. A mini 2+2 dialogue also happened with America, the way it happened with the ministers, defense ministers, Secretary of State with India. But now again a mini 2+2 has happened, and they have talked about this ISA and BECA. ISA is Industrial Security Annex. We are interested in the defense manufacturing, so for that this Industrial Security Annex, this agreement is very, very important, and the talks are going on in the American Parliament regarding that. And regarding the BECA, this is one of the last foundational agreement to be signed with India, where geospatial cooperation is the main focus, and USA wants it more than us. And apart from that, maritime domain awareness, that is also discussed here, because first trilateral tri-service exercises where military, air force, navy all will be taking part, and first tri-service exercise which will take place this year with US. So a lot of things are on the table, and a lot of areas of cooperation are there, but still some issues are there. The Afghanistan issue, the H1B issue, all things are there. China issue is there, the triangle between America, USA, Russia and India. How do we manage that situation? So all these challenges are in front of us. Everything is in front of us. Cooperation is there, friendship is there, and challenges are there. Tariff deals are there, where tariff war is also started between India and US on the steel products, aluminium products and all. Okay, so that is also there, and these COMCASA, BECA, ISA, all these things are also there. So we need to manage all. We need to have the knowledge about all issues, and we should move forward further with a great question. Now center has pulled up governments for diverting coal cess. You see, the National Clean Energy Fund was created, and in last 7 to 8 years 86,440 crore rupees were collected, but only 30,000 crore rupees are diverted to the NCEF. 56 to 57 thousand crore rupees are missing. Where they have gone? This panel has said that you have adjusted that amount in incentivizing states after the GST implementation, because states complained a lot about their losses in GST implication and all, and they said that we will be having economic losses, and for 5 years you should support us. So they have said that whatever revenue losses were there with the states post GST time, government has shifted this money which should have gone to NCEF, which was to be used for green initiatives. Now that money government has given to states, so that's a big problem. And the gas power based energy production, that is under immense stress, because India's total installed capacity is about 345 gigawatts, and gas based capacity is about 25 gigawatts. That's only capacity. Production is only 3.8%. So that is trended already due to non-availability of domestic gas and unaffordability of imported gas, because most of the times most of the amount we are importing, whether it's crude oil or gas, because we are not producing them much. So that's a big problem already. This is an immense threat, and over that this coal cess was brought here. That was 400 rupees per ton. Okay, and that would be given to government, so that money would be coming to NCEF, Clean Energy Fund, and we will be supporting green initiative out of this fund. But something different is happening here. We are not focusing on this. We are claiming a lot on the international scenario, but in reality what we are doing, that is the data here. Only 30,000 crore rupees were transferred to NECF, and even only 15,000 crore rupees were used for the green purposes. That's again a different thing. So that's a trouble. Now the Mekedatu dam, that is on the Kaveri river. Kaveri river rising here in the Brahmagiri hills on the Karnataka border in Karnataka, Kerala border in Karnataka, Brahmagiri hills. You see, this is the Kerala's border. Kerala, this is Karnataka. Here Talkaveri is there, and this river is rising here like this, entering Tamil Nadu and flowing like this. This is called Ganga of South because of the religious regions, and Godavari is also called the Ganga of South, but that is the region of basin area. Here the reason is being pious and religious regions, and a lot of religious places are there on the banks of River Kaveri, and on the islands. Srirangam Island is there, and a lot of falls are also there, and the issue is ever going between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu state. Now Tamil Nadu complained about this, that center has given clearance to Karnataka, but center denied these charges. Center said that we have given only conditional clearance for only DPR, detailed project report, that would be created by Karnataka government, and technical parameters are not finalized yet. And first prerequisite is the Kaveri Water Management Authority. I want to tell you that these river dispute, they are never solved in Supreme Court. Supreme Court never takes them. There are river tribunals, there are river authorities that are created, and they share these waters and all. Okay, so this issue, this Mekedatu dam that may be asked in the prelims examination on the Kaveri river, and Kaveri management authority, water management authority should be created first, then these proposals will be accepted. Now the issue of Justice Sikri, who was in the panel where Alok Verma was sacked 2 days back, and he was one of the 3 members of the committee who sacked that, and now Justice Sikri is offered this job in London Commonwealth Secretariat Arbitral Tribunal, but he has denied that offer, turned down that offer. And MCQs are there, try them, all important MCQs, and this is the mains based question practice. So thanks a lot, keep watching. It was Amit Sani. A lot of data was there and a lot of articles were there in today's newspaper. Today is Monday, so that's why it was long. Thanks a lot.